Hello and a very good afternoon to all those who are joining us on this Facebook Live. I'm Pratibha and today we're going to talk about the increasing number of COVID-19 cases in India, and today is going to be quite a crucial day for the country because the total number of cases being reported across the country could cross the numbers in China. The total numbers in China, India could cross that today, sometime today, as the number of cases continue to rise. To give you the numbers, the total numbers in China, the numbers that have been reported are 82,929. As of now, in India, the total number of cases being reported is 81,859. So these are the cases that have been reported on a daily basis for the last 20 days. We have been seeing a total of 3,000 to 4,000 new cases being reported in the country. So keeping that in mind, today the numbers will cross that of China. It's quite worrying, but this was also expected because the numbers have been increasing. In fact, now that a few restrictions have been eased, the numbers have gone up drastically. We'll give you the figures as well. For those who are joining us, do let us know in the comments what you think about the number of cases that are increasing, and what India should do. A few of the states have also given a few inputs. We'll talk about that as well, on what lockdown 4.0 should be like. States like Delhi have spoken about the opening up of even malls. Karnataka has spoken of opening up of restaurants, hotels, as well as gyms in the state. While this is very important for those whose livelihoods have been hit because of coronavirus and the lockdown, it's also important to take a look at the numbers as they are increasing and then come up with a contingency plan. Now, in less than 20 days, the cases have spiked by over 3 times because the lockdown restrictions have been eased in several places. Of course, the testing has also increased. All of this has contributed to the fact that now the total numbers that we were seeing before and comparing it with now, it is more than 3 times. So it's quite a huge jump in cases that we are seeing as of now. And Thursday saw 4,000 new cases being reported. So before the lockdown restrictions had been eased, we were seeing of about 1,300 to 1,500 cases that were being reported on a daily basis. We're seeing a huge spike now with 3,000 to 4,000 cases that are being reported on a daily basis. As of now, there are over 51,000 active cases in the country, which means the total numbers that have been reported, subtracting it with the total number of deaths as well as the recoveries. So over 51,000 active cases even now across the country. Now, we'll talk about the states as well as they have been affected. We do know that Maharashtra is the worst affected state even now. Maharashtra remains the worst affected state, because of which even markets have taken a hit. If you look at Sensex, it is sulking even today despite the economic stimulus package that has been announced by the centre, and that's because of the bad shape that Mumbai is in because of the total number of cases that have been reported. But now Tamil Nadu has come in a close second, and in Tamil Nadu the numbers are increasing quite drastically on an everyday basis. In Maharashtra there are 27,524 cases that have been reported. But now, as the travelers are moving across the country, the migrants moving from one state to another, that has increased the cases. And one of the biggest worries has also been Goa. It was in the green category because only 7 people had tested positive in the state, after which all 7 had recovered. So before the lockdown was eased, for the last several weeks, there were no positive cases being reported in Goa at all. So it was a complete green zone. But now a few of the travelers who have gone back to Goa have tested positive. This has come as quite a concern, so much so that the Goa Chief Minister has also said, don't come to Goa for enjoyment. So we have spoken of how the world is going to change in a post-COVID era. Goa, as we know, has been the favorite destination for people across the country, outside as well, but within the country as well, whether it is for couples, whether it is for college students. Goa had something for everybody. And now the Goa Chief Minister has said, don't come here for enjoyment. In fact, they're also looking for a travel overhaul, which means that the beach shacks that people were so fond of, that could go away completely, and it could become only a very luxurious destination for people. Which means that those who can shell out the big bucks can holiday in Goa, because the big hotels will still be right there, but the shacks that several people were very fond of, that could go completely. So, these are some of the factors that we have to keep in mind as we talk about how life is going to change in the post-COVID era. Of course, this is one of the many things that's going to change. As of now, Goa has only finalized the plan. Now, coming back to the travelers being the super spreaders as of now. Across the country, there are special trains that are running because several people want to return home. They don't have jobs and they don't have any savings, so they want to return home. They've been holed up in their respective cities for a long time. But as people return home, this also means that the numbers are increasing. These dynamic numbers in each of the states could also differ completely because of these travels. And this is going to be one of the biggest worries for the government as of now. Now, in Delhi as well, the numbers have been increasing. But as we talk of the prediction, like we said, in India today, the numbers are going to cross that of China. So that might look like an extremely scary situation because China is where the virus started. It has been the epicenter of the outbreak of coronavirus as well. But they quickly brought things under control. It took over 70 days, but after which the number of cases being reported from China came down drastically. But that wasn't the case in India. And even now we are seeing the number of cases go up. But amid this worrying news, there's also something to be happy about. That is, there has been a different trajectory in terms of the cases that have been reported. In India, the total number might be inching very close to China or might be crossing it today. But the mortality rate is much lower in India. It's a little over half. To give you the numbers, in China, the total number of deaths that have been reported is 4,633. But even with the same amount of cases that have been reported in India, the death toll in the country has been 2,564. So, it's much lesser in India, and that's something to celebrate about. There have been several factors that have been spoken about on why the death toll is lower in India. But whatever the factors might be, we can welcome the fact that it is quite low in India. Now, in terms of the positive news that we're talking about, the testing has also increased. This has been one of the biggest concerns for people across the country, whether there has been enough testing or not. So now India has also hit the 2 million mark, which means 2 million tests have been conducted across the country, which is a very welcome sign. Initially, as we started our testing, it was extremely low, and now it has gone up to the 2 million mark. So that's a very welcome sign. This means that 1,540 tests are being conducted for every million of people. Now, the numbers are increasing. Not just that, random testing is also being increased. In fact, the union government, the Union Health Ministry has also told the states across the country to continue the random testing, even if it is pool testing, in each of the districts and every single week. So if there is a sudden spurt of cases, we would still know. There have been a few concerns, and now of course we also have to look at the exit strategy that we have spoken of so often. Prime Minister Modi, as he addressed the nation, also said that now it will be different for every state. Each state will have to look at how things are going to change completely. To talk about Karnataka, Karnataka has given a proposal where restaurants, hotels and also gyms will have to be opened because they're looking at a revenue dip, and now the state government is looking at a boost in terms of the sales that will be happening. And this also forms a large part of revenue for Karnataka. And likewise in Kerala as well. Of course, in Kerala, things are much more in control. But in Kerala, that is heavily dependent on tourism. It's looking at speeding up the public transportation. Even though restrictions are in place, the Kerala government wants public transportation to begin very quickly so that it can aid the travelers. And the more restrictions that are in place, the more travelers will want to stay away from the state. And this is the reason why Kerala has decided and has put forward a proposal where the public transport would be functional as usual. And apart from that, the Delhi government has also come up with its own plan. And in Delhi, the Chief Minister has spoken of opening up of malls as well. This is going to be a very tricky situation because all of these three places, these three factors that we spoke of involve a lot of people coming in. Malls, it sees a lot of crowding. Would it really be possible for the mall authorities to really check, thermal check every person who's entering the mall? And, there are several places where there is a lot of crowding as well. It's going to be very difficult to control. Same is the case in Karnataka as well, as they are talking of gyms and restaurants opening as well. There are more and more people coming in. So would it be easy to control? What about these small restaurants where they might not have thermal sensors? Then what? Would they be able to micromanage each of these places as well? So there are a few challenges that need to be kept in mind. But any decision that has been taken or will be taken should bear in mind the numbers that have been coming in. Let me take in a few messages that have been coming in. Now, a few saying good afternoon, welcome to the show. I hope you enjoyed what we put forward and it has been informative. If not, you can always give us suggestions on what to do. Shiv Kumar saying no medical treatment for COVID-19. What next? We are afraid. It is definitely a very scary situation, and as of now, the race to find the vaccine is still happening, but we still have no word on that. And until then, our solutions are only going to be the lockdown or our own, social responsibility that we have to ensure that we maintain social distance and take precautions like ensuring personal hygiene as well. Any outline how lockdown 4 will be post May 17th in Karnataka? Arun, I spoke of a few points, including the Karnataka government's plan to reopen, of course, the restaurants, bars, as well as the gymnasiums as well. As of now, a proposal has only been given out and it will be finalized by the union government. Arun Sharma also asking the same. I hope I've answered these questions. Saida saying nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. Karthik saying how would be lockdown 4.0? I hope I've answered that. Falguni as well joining us. Thank you so much for joining us, all of you. Any suggestions that you have, please do tell us. And the moment we have any details on lockdown 4.0, we will be here to give you all the latest updates on that. As of now, the state government is looking at the various factors to decide on what should be done, and each of the states are coming up with their own plans, looking at the numbers that have been reported. Of course, it will all be finalized before 17. That is when the third branch of this lockdown comes to an end. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care of yourselves and stay home and stay safe.